Hello again. Chase the Traveler with a new episode. So, I left Brazil. Now, I didn't leave Brazil because I didn't like it. I didn't leave Brazil because there were any problems. I didn't leave Brazil because I didn't think there was any opportunity or that I felt like, Brazil was not a place that I can call home. I left Brazil because I wanted to explore. And honestly, how can you make a decision about where you want to live, where you're going to settle for a little bit, unless you know something about that place? I did that in Japan. I relied on what I was seeing on TV. I went over there, and as soon as I got there, I got a super high. And definitely, I think I was on that high for a couple months, and it started coming down after like a year, 2 years, I was off the high. But now, I'm in a different country. I'm in Paraguay. Paraguay is actually close to Brazil. And again, one thing that I like about this country is the affordability. And when I mean affordable, it's affordable. I thought Brazil was affordable. This is actually a little bit more affordable than Brazil. Right now, I'm in an Airbnb and I'm paying probably about $20 a day. And honestly, this is first world living. It's small, but I'm by myself, so I don't really need a huge place. It's nice and clean. It's cozy. You could find places like this in Japan. You're definitely going to pay a lot more for it. But I would say I'm quite satisfied with the accommodation. And one thing, just like in Brazil, you could be in the first world in like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. But you could turn a corner and all of a sudden you're in the third world again. And right now, I'm in a building and I'm in the first world. But look outside. All I have to do is look out and all of a sudden I'm in the third world. I've got the third world view. But that doesn't affect me in my first world apartment. So, I don't want to get too in depth. I don't want to start talking about what Paraguay is like yet in this first video because, again, when you first get somewhere, you really don't know. And, even in your first week, you don't know. Your first month, you don't know. You can make simple analogies, which is what I'm going to make. But you can't really expand or give in-depth analysis. But I'm going to tell you, coming into Paraguay was definitely a little bit rough. At the airport, they questioned whether my passport was authentic or not. I was like, what? Now, of course, I was very polite. I'm always polite. And of course, I knew that my credentials were in order. So therefore, I had nothing to worry about. And of course, I got through with it. But it was annoying. But, of course, as you are, once you get through that, you're good. Now, there are some similarities to what you will face here in Paraguay. In Brazil, there was like a special price for you, the foreigner. You paid the special price. And pretty much, if you don't see a price tag on anything, you're getting the special price. And sometimes they realize they made a mistake. And they're like, oh, the guy's not Brazilian. Then they come back if you hadn't ordered a drink. They come back and ask, oh, do you want a drink? And then the drink is like almost like 50% of the meal. That 50% of the price of the meal. So you're like, my goodness. I paid the special price for the drink. So there are some similarities. Now, I don't know if that's everywhere because I only had that happen at the with taxis. Now I went to a coffee shop today. The people were very friendly and quite humble. So therefore, I mean, you could see the difference in like the personalities between Brazil and Paraguay. I mean, in Brazil, I kind of felt like I could fit in with the Brazilians. I mean, I could just walk and all of a sudden, they wouldn't question my identity or my citizenship until I started to speak. But here in Paraguay, I have a feeling that I'm not going to be considered local. I made a mistake. I was actually, when I was going through customs, I was in the line with the citizens. And a citizen politely pointed out, hey, I think you're in that line over there. And I was like, oh, yep, you're right. Yep, over there. Now, if I was in Brazil, that probably wouldn't have happened until I actually got to customs. So in Paraguay, I definitely feel that I will be a foreigner here. But I don't think that the service is going down or up because of it. I think I'm being treated normally. So I don't think that there is a big problem. I don't feel a tension, like all of a sudden, I go sit down in a coffee shop and people are like looking at me or pretending not to look at me like in Japan. I don't feel that happening here yet. But again, something. I mean, I got here yesterday. I went out to a shopping mall to eat in the first world. The price was actually reasonable, even though the shopping mall looked similar to what you would see in the States or similar to what you would see in America or in Japan. But the prices were definitely cheaper for food. I didn't look at clothes. I didn't look at anything else. But for food, it was good. So that's definitely a very, very good sign. I like to see places where you can go shopping and not have to pay that much or not have to strain. I mean, last month I was in New York. I was in Texas, and I was like, the prices were like almost making me feel like I shouldn't go out. Over here, the prices are definitely reasonable. And I would say that Paraguay is even a little bit more reasonable than Brazil. Prices are a little bit cheaper here for sure. So imagine when I get out of the Airbnb and I actually stay at a normal place. Prices are probably going to even be better. But I've got to figure that out. Now, I'm not saying that I will stay here. Remember, the name of the program is Chase the Traveler. So I've got to travel. I've got to look at things. I've got to find things. Then I'll figure out exactly where I belong. I mean, I could live in Japan, but I didn't feel like I was comfortable there. I could also live in America. I could live in New York. I could live in Texas. But I didn't feel the price over there would really allow me to live properly. I think I could even live in Brazil. I saw a lot of opportunities there. I didn't really study Portuguese in high school, so the language was really alien to me. But I don't feel that I couldn't learn it if I really tried. Now in Paraguay, people speak Spanish. And even though my Spanish level is quite low, I felt I understood way more Spanish than I did Portuguese. So I kind of felt like, so it was a little bit refreshing because I could have very, 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 very basic conversation. I mean, very basic. But it was like, it almost felt like I was speaking English, even though I wasn't speaking English. And the people here, I would say, just from first impressions, I would say it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. Again, I'm not saying that they mistake me for a Paraguayan person. I don't think so. But I don't see any hostility yet. I've only been here a day. And, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I definitely am. I definitely want to see what's here, what's available. And I think that in regards to being able to live in a place where things are affordable, this is one of those places. This is most certainly one of those places. And as I sip on my morning coffee, I look forward to going out there, checking out prices, seeing how much these apartments are, just seeing how easy it is to get around. I mean, right now, I would say an 10, 15-minute Uber ride is like $3. Try doing that in New York. Try doing that in Texas. It's not going to work. So that's the kind of thing that you look for when you're looking for a country to live in. You want to know that, okay, you know something, I want to get on an Uber, I want to go somewhere, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. That's a very, very good sign. I mean, you also want to live comfortably. And, again, just because this is outside my apartment doesn't mean that just because I'm here, I have to live this way. No. Dude, I've seen people in nice cars. I'm talking about real nice cars that I can't even afford. Nice Porsches, nice BMWs, nice Mercedes-Benz. I mean, the shopping mall that I went to yesterday, I'll videotape one next time. Looked better than the one in Brazil. And honestly, I thought it looked better than some of the shopping malls in Japan. So you could quickly get out of wherever you're at, or whatever third world part, or whatever section you're at in Paraguay, and go straight into a place where you feel like you're right back in Japan again, or you're right back in America again. I mean, you have to go a couple minutes out, but I don't feel that the rich people that live in Paraguay are going to go and live in Japan because somehow Japan has way more conveniences than here. I mean, I've already noticed certain things that I've noticed certain things here that you wouldn't get in Japan, for example, or get in America. This refrigerator, I don't know who makes it. It's got the right name, Midas. That refrigerator kept me up at night. It definitely does not have the Midas touch. Every, I would say, 2 hours or every hour, it would maybe regenerate itself and make noise and kind of like wake me up. So I was like, oh my goodness. I'm on the first floor. Well, I'm on the second floor in American, standards or Japanese standards. So I heard everybody that was coming in the front entrance, even though I'm here on the second floor. So it was like ping pong every 10, 15 minutes, like people were coming in and out of the building. Now, that tells me that the construction isn't what you would see in Japan, because in Japan you wouldn't have that. In America, I don't think I've ever experienced that either. Maybe if I was on a higher floor, maybe the fourth or fifth, that wouldn't happen, but I'm on the first floor. So the construction is definitely not top quality, even though it looks good. I mean, the apartment looks nice. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, this apartment looks a lot better than some of the Japanese apartments that I've stayed at. So, I mean, marble. You're not going to get marble countertops in Japan. You might get them in America. You're definitely not going to get it in Japan. And if you do get it in Japan, you probably paid an arm and a leg for it. So, I mean, it's nice. I mean, the floors also, marble floors. Pretty good. You'll probably get some laminate flooring in Japan most of the time. So, there are pros and there are definitely cons. I mean, the property owner here is kind of worried about her property. She even left the plastic on. So you're not going to see that in Japan, of course. You're not going to see that in America. But hey, I mean, even left the plastic on. Even left the plastic on the box spring. Will you see that in America or Japan? No, you will not. They even have Japanese style heaters and air conditioners. This is a Airway. Never heard of it. Now, one thing also that you're not going to see in Japan is this. Look at the mirror. I mean, it's not even at the height where you have to be a midget to be able to look at yourself. So this is what I have to do. But anyway, look, like I said, there are some minor inconveniences. But there are some pros. Like I said, the pricing over here is definitely to the standard that I myself like. Whether or not this country has what I need in order to call home, I do not know yet. I cannot give you an answer, but I can tell you that there are a lot of rich people here. And just like in Brazil, in Cuiabá, I did see a lot of construction around here. So whether or not the opportunities are only for the locals or foreigners like myself can get opportunities, I don't know. But I'll find out. The pricing over here is what really people should think about. And I'm definitely going to do a lot of thinking about that. Like I said, Japan is wonderful. America is nice. Japan has everything you can need. But the mistake that people make is that whenever they go to places like Japan, everything's already built up already, and they're looking like, okay, everything is built up, I'm going to be happy, everything, it has what I need. No, that's not the case. I think people should go to countries that are developing. That's where the opportunities are at. If you had been in Japan in the early 80s, like 1980, 81, 82, you would have caught all that prosperity, 85, 86, 87 that everybody was enjoying. You would have caught all of that. Now, I'm not saying that this country over here is developing to the extent that Japan developed, or is reaping, or you're going to reap any benefits over here. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not recommending this place. I'm not telling you that this place, you shouldn't go to it either. What I'm saying is that I like what I see. I also liked what I saw in Brazil. And I think that this place is definitely worth looking into. Now, in Brazil, excuse me, in Brazil, I didn't look at the visa requirements. I didn't check that out. I haven't looked into the visa requirements here either. I haven't looked at that. I haven't checked that out. So once I check that out, I'll know a little bit more. I'll know how easy, how difficult, how complicated, how simple living over here or doing anything over here is. But, I'm going to stick around a little bit. I'm going to check things out a little bit. And once I do that, I'll know. So I like the fact that like I said, a big factor for me is pricing. That's the magic word right there. And right now, I have a feeling to be middle class here, if you have about $10,000 a year and you're renting, you can do all right. You can probably live in this apartment right here. I'm not sure yet, but I will find out. And I think, of course, the more you have, the more comfortable you're going to be. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. So, most certainly, this country is something that I have to look into. But again, I think I'm going to have to pay the local price in order to get what I need, in order to get what I want. Once you get the local price, I think you're better off. If you don't get the local price, you're screwed. You're screwed. God, instant coffee is bad. I don't like it. So, anyway, Chase the Traveler, coming to you from Asuncion, Paraguay. Finally started traveling. It took a while. I was in Japan for quite a bit. And, thank you to all my viewers that were concerned about me in Brazil, because I was walking through a few rough neighborhoods. And I heard that Brazil has a lot of security problems. I didn't experience any. The people were friendly. Paraguay, also, I think some of the neighborhoods look rough, but I haven't seen anything that would scare me yet. So, again, thanks again for watching. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe. Please do me a favor, buy me a coffee. It's not easy bringing you these videos. And right now, I'm the producer. I'm in front of the camera. I'm in back of the camera. I'm writing the scripts. And I enjoy doing it. So, thanks again. See you in the next episode. Chase the Traveler.